podcast. I'm Darren Boot Clark, and today we're doing things a little different. This is the COVID-19 era, and we have had to scramble the jet fighters, and we are recording from an undisclosed location in the friendly confines of Deer Park, high atop one of its illustrious buildings. Today, we've got a story of resilience, perseverance, determination, and just intestinal fortitude like I've never seen. It's Courtney Bush, and I've known her probably 11, 12 years, and I've watched her grow up and turn into a wonderful woman that she is, and watched her go through a hell of a lot, and that's what we're going to talk about. This is a tough topic. It's mental and physical abuse, domestic abuse. So strap in, sit down, and be ready for a story like no other, and going to the pits of hell and coming out into the flowery garden of where her life is at now. So welcome to the stage, Courtney.
Thanks for having me.
You bet. So just to kind of break the ice, where'd you grow up?
I grew up actually local, here in LaPorte. I went to LaPorte schools, grew up playing softball in LaPorte, everything for LaPorte.
Awesome. And favorite ice cream?
Cookie dough.
There you go.
Mixed with Reese's.
Gotcha. So this podcast is called But Did You Die? And it's all about people overcoming adversity and going on to do great things. And out of the hardest of time forges the strongest of women and men. And you've definitely gone through a hard time. So that's why the listeners come in and want to see what this is all about. I want to hear these stories because it helps. It's a healing process for people to tell their story. But at the same time, it's also reassuring for people listening to it to know that they're not alone and other people go through this. So without any further ado, let's start talking about your But Did You Die story.
So mine actually started when I was a senior in high school. So we were in 2006, 2007, and you're young and you think you've just found Mr. Right. You're, oh man, nothing could be better. He was, I guess, about 6 years older than I was, and I'm in high school, and at that time there wasn't anything that could go wrong. We spent weekends together. I graduated high school, and I start living at his mom's house against my mama's rules and wills. Sure. And about, I would say, towards the end of 2007, beginning of 2008, we decided we were going to get an apartment over in Alvin. My sister was getting married. I went to her wedding. He did not go with me. I'm coming home on the phone with my dad, and I walk into the apartment. He's drunk as a skunk. And next thing I know, the phone is being knocked out of my hand. He has no idea I'm on the phone or who I'm on the phone with. The phone flies across. I remember it as if it was yesterday. It flies across the living room, hits the wall, never hangs up. My dad's listening to the entire conversation. We have words back and forth. I try to make my way to put some stuff in the kitchen. I'm in the corner of the kitchen near the pantry, and his head hits me a centimeter above killing me from a headbutt. As I go to try to proceed to leave, I am locked in a bedroom. Not to mention he has 2 younger children who are watching all of this.
Oh my gosh.
So then, he's like, oh, I'll make it even, headbutts himself against the bathroom door border. Again, I get locked in the bedroom. He comes in there a couple times, takes the phone away from me. I can't call nobody. Nobody knows my address in my family, so it's not like Dad could call 911 for me.
Right.
So I wait about 45 minutes to an hour, and I don't know if he had maybe kind of forgot that I was supposed to be locked in the bedroom. I was able to lie to him and tell him I needed to go get something out of the vehicle. I make it down to the parking lot, and as I get the car started, he's standing there. You're not leaving, you're not leaving. I kind of just said, forget it, I'm gone. I went to his parents' house. Yeah. His mom's a nurse. I needed her to make sure that I was going to be okay to drive a little further. As I'm sitting there, I'm like, you need to go get your grandbabies. She's apologizing for her son and his actions. he calls her house and says, I'm on my way over. So she tells me to leave. At this point, I've lied to my father and not told him the truth as to what happened.
Sure.
I call my grandma, and I'm like, Grandma, I lied to my dad, and I don't know what to do. And I head to my sister's house.
Yeah.
I get to my sister's, and she meets me at the front door. She takes pictures. She calls the LaPorte Police Department. Unfortunately, there's nothing they could do except tell us to go to Alvin.
Yeah, right. Jurisdictionally.
She takes me down to the Alvin police station where they check me out, and that's where I find out I was a centimeter away from dying.
Oh, God.
I've never been more terrified in my life. And then they also let me know that he got picked up on drunk driving charges, and now that I've made it to the station, that they will pursue charges for abuse. And of course, young, dumb, and stupid gets the phone call the next day with threats. If I don't drop the charges, if I don't come back, my family's not going to survive. Not knowing any better, I was trying to protect my mom, my sisters. I had a niece at that time. I was looking out for them. He knew where they all lived. So I went and I begged and pleaded with the state to drop the charges.
Look,
I went
survivor victim syndrome.
Yeah, I went back. I went back for about not even a little over a year. I left for good February 12th of 2009.
Yep.
3 months pregnant because
wow.
he had.
With your miracle.
Yeah,
Right.
he had threatened to not only kill me but the baby.
Mm-hmm.
At 3 months pregnant. He basically said, call your own ambulance. I said some probably not so nice words, got in the car. He again tried to stand in my way, and this time I ran his foot over.
Good.
I ran straight over his foot. I didn't turn back. I didn't care. At this point, I was, you're dead to my kid. She doesn't need to know you. I did, being the bigger person, his mom showed up to the hospital when I had my daughter that August. And she wasn't allowed, the baby was in the NICU, so she couldn't get to him, but my mom showed him who she was. And then I tried a couple times after that to let him and his family see her, and it was just better to cut all ties.
Absolutely.
I was terrified the entire time.
Sure.
So I fast forward from that, and I moved back to Mom's, put myself through college. 2 years later, I'm grown and smart again, and
yeah. Absolutely.
You're great. And so I meet another gentleman. And
let's use that term loosely.
let's. I thought he was a gentleman at first. And there were so many red flags that people kept telling me, and I was like, what are y'all talking about? I don't see that. I don't know it. You're in denial. When you've been in an abusive domestic relationship before, you sometimes feel like that's how a relationship is supposed to be.
Yep.
That's all you know.
Yep.
I grew up from a home that was broken when I was 5th, 6th grade. My dad had an affair on my mom and left. So I didn't get to see what a relationship was supposed to be like unless it was from friends' parents. Unfortunately, most of my friends' parents divorced as well. So we really didn't have the, mom and dad stay together, this is how it's supposed to be kind of influence. So I meet this man, and he turns out to be the biggest manipulator I've ever met in my life. I started having things go missing from my apartment, which I was really proud to have what little I did have. Brooke and I were starting out, we were good to go. This man comes in and, tells you all the things you want to hear, makes you feel real good. Not even, maybe about 6 months later, if that, he planned our wedding in 3 days. I had nothing to plan with it.
Wow.
Unfortunately, none of my friends were there. None of his family was there. It was just my family. But I thought somebody wanted to love me. Somebody wanted to marry me.
Sure.
Somebody wanted to be with me. And, that's just what every girl always wants. Not thinking there's somebody better that isn't going to treat you like crap or take your things or manipulate you. As soon as we got married, he quit working.
Yeah.
My stuff started going missing. It got to the point where I would hide my debit card at work. I had a decent job. I worked in the oil industry. Before I graduated college, I had a job offer for the day after my graduation to start as an accountant. That job, I was there for about 3 years.
Yep.
And during these 3 years, I had gotten married to this man. We had moved from place to place because he was so into drugs and at the time I didn't know it. I didn't realize it. I had my suspicions. I wasn't sure. We're moving place to place, which is never good for a child, nor myself, especially, sometimes you have vehicle problems. Well, I ended up having a lot of vehicle problems.
And from place to place, it started out as apartments.
Yes.
But then it went to long-term hotels.
So we started in an apartment. We went from apartment to apartment. Our longest residency was in a duplex in Pasadena.
That's right.
For a year. And after that, it was, he was in and out of the hospital for kidney failure, liver failure, because he couldn't quit drinking and drugging. It was with his family members, and then of course they all got tired of it.
Constant chaos.
And so it was hotels. We stayed in a hotel for a while, bounced from different ones after that.
All the while you maintained
work. I kept a job, sometimes two.
Yeah, and Courtney and I worked together, and she maintained her job. I mean, that was her safe space, right? You came to work, and
I looked forward to it.
Nobody could get to you.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody could steal your stuff. 'Cause I remember you were keeping stuff there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It was my go-to. I felt safe there. I looked forward to going to work. I got a second job so that I wasn't at home as much.
Right, that's right. Yep.
Because I was scared. And it's funny you mentioned that because I went to move out of my apartment finally after 4 years, and you take the stuff off the wall and you see holes that you were covering with designs or decorations, and you just look at it. You're like, that was supposed to be my head, but I ducked.
Yep.
I remember there was a time where I wasn't allowed to go to work. He was not going to let me go to work. He had grabbed my arm, slammed the door, told me I wasn't allowed to leave. And I remember going and calling you from the laundry room, asking you to please help me. I ended up making it to work that day, and I had the most amazing boss. She taught me so much, and more so how to be independent, but I had to explain to her why I was late, and she said I needed to leave. I was terrified to leave. She said, you need to go to the police station. So I go to the police station. They follow me to the apartment, and I remember I met them at the end of the apartment complex, handed them the keys, and gave them permission to walk inside my house.
Yeah.
The detective comes out, and he tells me, here's your keys. Maintenance, we'll get maintenance to lock up. We'll let them know that we came in. We'll get them to lock up. I don't want you in the parking lot. We're about to bring him out.
Yeah.
You go on about your day. He goes, we're going to keep him. And that was a turnaround point for me. That was, okay, they've got him. I can go home and be safe. And you have to learn to block numbers. Right. I had to block so many city jail numbers, county jail numbers, state jail numbers, because if you accept the call and engage the conversation, and that was hard for me. It was hard for me to not want to answer the phone and be like, you did this to yourself. But with time I did it. There was a time where I'm very thankful for the Bridge Over Troubled Waters. They took me in at minute's notice, and I only needed it temporarily. I knew I had an apartment coming, but I needed a safe place to go. I could not continue sleeping in a vehicle any longer.
And all the while, she's booting up, suiting up, and going to work.
Yes.
And that was a tough time for me to watch you, but I admired you for holding your job, holding your space. I mean, not a lot of people pull up from that, and you went from the downward spiral, and there were times I didn't know, because I was giving you rides for a time, but you would walk to work, or you would walk to donate blood to and plasma and not say anything, and then show up and put on a smile and do her job. And I commend you for that, because that's a lot to take in. And I don't know. I don't like to think that I'm a strong person, but I don't know if I can do that, because sometimes when you're in the pits of hell, I think a lot of people just sit and you kept moving, and that's, Joe Nichols said, when you're walking through hell, keep walking, right? Going through hell, keep walking, and that's what you did. You moved through it, and I just want to say that was huge from that part, because I remember giving you rides, and it was devastating, and you always said, I want to buy it. I'd stop to get us drinks, and you're like, let me buy it. And I knew you didn't have a pot to piss in right then. And I'm like, no way. And then I'd end up having a damn Coke on my desk. Diet Coke, because I'm diabetic, or a Diet Mountain Dew. I knew that $1.50 was hard to come by. And it meant a lot. So, all right, let's, allergies are bad. I get a little watery. But anyway, so you've hit the bottom and you're coming up. Let's talk about that.
So, my hit the bottom actually came in the midst of that marriage. I had a friend find me outside of a Kroger, not sure what all pills had been taken. I take blood pressure medicine. I knew if I took enough, it would lower it. I'd be gone. So I'm very thankful for a friend who's more like a sister.
Yeah.
She's been my rock. It doesn't matter time of day, thick or thin, whether I need something or I just want to say hi or I need a hug. I go by her house all the time just to say I need a special hug. She picked me up, and I remember she called you and Mom.
Yeah.
I remember going to the hospital trying to convince all of y'all, I swear I didn't take anything. I'm good. I think that was my pivot where I realized something's got to give, something's got to change. I have a child that needs a mother. I have friends that would be devastated if they lost me.
Oh, yeah.
At this time, I didn't have family. The only family I had was one of my sisters, and even then she was kind of distant. It was that where I realized I just tried to let somebody influence myself taking my own life.
Right.
You can't do that. God, I have a tattoo that reminds me of it daily. But it's my reminder that I overcame, that I chose to continue. I chose not to let my story end or to give up.
I think they call that, you decided to write your own story, not let somebody else write it for you, right?
Yes, I did.
These jackasses would have won. And
they came close.
And yeah, but they didn't. And that's the main thing. You like you said, you chose to move forward for your daughter and for yourself. And
yes.
We're grateful for it. I mean, I know Brooke is.
I am very I'm very grateful because I know it isn't easy putting anyone through the situation that I've put everybody through with, okay, Courtney's on her own, but are we going to see her tomorrow? Are we going to hear from her? And I know that that was one of the worries for, you and Mom and Lindsay and Leah was, is Darren going to tell us Courtney didn't make it to work? Is Darren going to tell us that somebody needs to go find her?
Yeah.
But it took me having to go and face the problems and get the help that I got. And I never thought I'd be thankful for it. I definitely never, I always thought it was going to be something I was ashamed and embarrassed of and that people would judge me for. But today I look at it and I'm like, that's my story. That's what made me strong and made me who I am. And I am so thankful that I got the help and that somebody didn't write my story for me. So now I've gotten past all of this, and it's taken some time, and unfortunately it still affects you sometimes, on a daily, sometimes on a weekly. I struggle with anxiety, and sometimes I feel like I'm not worthy of being loved, or, I'm not worthy of having somebody because I'm damaged. But that's not the case at all. I have gone from being a receptionist, so when I lost my accounting job, I had to start over. I went from being a receptionist to administration for projects, and was able to actually find a better job with a competing company. And now I'm a project coordinator. So I've been able to work and dedicate myself to my jobs to move myself up and make a better life for myself. But not only that, but to show not just my daughter, but I have an abundance of nieces and nephews, and those that I consider nieces and nephews that, you know, I want them to be able to say, if my aunt can do it, I can do it.
Absolutely.
So I always think about, you know, the little ones. I want the boys to not be jerks, and I want them to know that it's not okay to treat women like that. And I want my girls to know that, you know, we don't have to tolerate it. It's not acceptable. And my aunt went through it. She overcame it, and look at her now. She's successful.
Yeah.
I am very blessed. I had the same apartment for 4 years, which at sometimes was a struggle, and I wasn't sure how things were gonna, you know, get paid being on my own. And then I had to tell myself, well, technically you were on your own the whole time.
Right, you were
the only one. You were the only income, and your income was getting stolen from you while you were sleeping. You know, my debit card would go missing. So it is very different for me now. I never thought I would trust another man. I never thought I would live with another man. And I get an amazing job. I love my job. I love my coworkers, and I love that they're more like family than coworkers. I never thought I'd have a boss that knew so much about me, and we go on one trip together, and now we know everything, you know, and he understands. So then I have met a man who puts up with me tremendously with all my flaws and all my, you know, insecurities from past relationships, and reminds me on a daily that, you know, this isn't the past. I have put it behind me, but sometimes, you know, you just need that reassurance.
Sure.
He's great with, you know, giving the reassurance. We moved in together rather quickly, but
that's new.
It was one of those, we met, spent all our time together. We both have really good jobs. We both have kids. Our kids are our number one, our jobs, you know, we're very dedicated. But we managed. It didn't matter time of day, we were together. So I went out of town one weekend, came home to see him on the Sunday, and never went back home. Went home to get clothes, shower. So now I have, you know, a man that treats me, from what I'm told, how women are supposed to be treated. I don't feel like I have to do something to get, you know, attention or approval. I don't have to hide my debit card. I don't have to spend my money just on, you know, him and his needs. It's more so, you know, it's kind of nice. Everything is split. We both pay bills at the house. We both pay mortgage at the house. We, you know, spend money on each other.
Sure. We have a healthy relationship.
Yes, that's what it's called. So it's different for me, and I never thought it was possible. I you know, thought nobody's gonna want me. The only people that are gonna want me are the ones that I shouldn't be with. So it's very different. It's very nice.
Well, I think you went from a world of constant drama and uncertainty and chaos, where the highs were high, the lows were low, and you got used to the wild rides, and kind of thrived on it because you couldn't thrive on the man, right?
Right.
And now it's more of a slower ups and downs, and probably took some time to get used to, because
I'm still working on getting used to it.
That's hard, right? There's not as much drama. There's not. I mean, the guy respects you. You respect him. You know, it's normal. What we call normal. I don't know what is normal, but it's healthy, I will say. And so getting used to that probably is a bit of a change.
It is.
So that being said, Courtney, we're wrapping it up. Give me a couple. What would you tell a girl that was in your situation, or a guy? I mean, guys can get beat up too. It doesn't matter. Domestic abuse is domestic abuse. And what would you give me some advice that you would give the girls or the people that are in domestic abuse problems and situations? What would you tell them on what to look for and how to get out? Give me a couple things.
My big thing is everybody's worried if you say something, what somebody's going to think about you, whether your friends or family are going to believe you, help you, or be like, you put yourself in this situation, get yourself out of it. There are so many other avenues that you can go on to get out. Whether you go on your own to get help, you can, don't be afraid to go to the doctor. Tell them what's going on. Don't be afraid to go to the police station. But don't feel embarrassed. That was my biggest thing, was I was embarrassed. I was ashamed. Because you acknowledge that you're in a bad situation, it's okay to hit rock bottom. It's okay to have nothing and start from the bottom, because then you can say, I did it, I survived it, and where I'm at now is because of where I was before. I'm successful with, money in the bank, a car, a job, this, that, and the other, because you did it on your own, because you chose to get out. I advocate for it all the time on my Facebook. There's suicide hotlines,
Yep.
but those aren't just for if you're suicidal. Those are, hey, I'm in this situation. What do I do? What is my avenue? Where can I go? I don't have anyone to talk to. There's always someone to talk to that's not going to judge you. And as much as you think your friends and family are going to judge you or not understand, talk to them anyways.
Yeah. There's a support system.
It really works. I didn't have my family, I had my friends. Don't let yourself become stuck. I was becoming stuck. All it takes is one time of, them putting their hands on you, and I promise you they're going to do it again. They can say they won't, they will. And even if they're not putting their hands on you, they're putting a hole in your wall because they're wishing it was you, or you're standing right next to that spot on the wall and it's to scare you. Own what's yours.
Yep.
If you go to work every day and make that money, own it. Don't let anybody take it from you, because I promise you it's not worth it, and there is help out there.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, Courtney, thank you so much. It took a lot to share that, and I hope this helps somebody out there that's needing it, and I hope it helped you.
Yeah.
I know it helped me. It's brought up a lot of emotions. So we'll leave it at that, but thanks again for coming on the Digidai podcast, and you're on to a trajectory of success.
Thanks for having me. Thanks for believing in me.
You bet.